Ancient myths, rock carvings, and sacred texts tell of creatures that supposedly never existed. Imagination? Perhaps, but what if we're wrong? Time and again, researchers discover fossils that match old stories. Could legends be based on real beings? Extinct, yes, but not forgotten. Number 7. Dwarves. Many mysterious creatures from old tales seem today like fantasy figures from fairy tales or movies. But there are cases where reality and myth intertwine. A fascinating example, Homo floresiensis, a human-like dwarf species that lived about 50,000 years ago on the Indonesian island of Flores. With only about 1 meter in height and a small brain, they appeared alien, but were true members of the genus Homo. They likely evolved from Homo erectus through so-called island dwarfism, an adaptation to scarce resources and isolated habitats. These small humans lived side by side with dangerous animals like the Komodo dragon. One can imagine how discoveries of their tools or skeletons influenced later cultures. Such traces could have been the basis for legends about small, mysterious forest dwellers. Perhaps these stories were not just fantasy, but vague memories of real beings that were once part of our world. Number 6. Eravata. In Hindu mythology, we encounter Eravata, a mighty white elephant with 4 tusks. He is considered the sacred mount of the god Indra and symbolizes strength, endurance, purity, and divine order. It is especially his 4 tusks that make him a unique being in the Vedic scriptures and the Ramayana. It is possible that Eravata has a real origin. From 10 to 23 million years ago, the Gomphotheres lived, distant relatives of today's elephants. Some of these animals had not only upper tusks, but also shovel-like lower jaw teeth. These anatomical features are reminiscent of depictions of Eravata in ancient texts and temple art. Although modern humans did not yet exist at that time, early hominids such as Homo erectus were just beginning to develop. Fossils of giant animals, skulls, tusks, or jaws could later have been discovered and interpreted by early cultures. In this way, prehistoric finds may have contributed to the creation of legends about Eravata as mythological reflections of a long-lost animal world. Number 5. Skōlex. Even in ancient times, people tried to interpret the unknown through observation, storytelling, and imagination. In Greek texts from around 2,400 years ago, a mysterious creature called Skōlex is described. A giant worm that was said to live in the Indus River and provide flammable oil. For scholars of the time, this was probably an exotic story that was hardly verifiable. But there may have been a real-life model behind it. Natural history knows of Arthropleura, a giant arthropod that lived over 300 million years ago. It was the largest known land-dwelling invertebrate and resembled an oversized millipede. Up to 2.5 meters long, it moved in a serpentine manner and could easily have been interpreted as a worm when later discovered. If you come across a fossilized segment with traces of resin or bitumen, it's not hard to imagine a legend taking shape. Perhaps this is how the myth of the oil worm was born from a prehistoric fossil. Number 4. Emela-Ntouka. Deep in the heart of Central Africa lies the Congo rainforest, one of the largest but least explored ecosystems on Earth. At around 3 million square kilometers, it is smaller than the Amazon, but much more inaccessible. Dense vegetation, swamps, and remote regions make scientific research difficult. This isolation fuels legends. Time and again, local communities report a scaly creature with a horn, the Emela-Ntouka, which means killer of elephants. It is said to live in swamps, half in the water, half on land, and to be able to kill large animals with a single thrust. The description is reminiscent of a ceratopsian dinosaur like the Triceratops, even though such dinosaurs are believed to have been extinct for 66 million years. Some cryptozoologists suspect it could be an unknown species of rhinoceros. Fossils of prehistoric species such as Arsinotherium, with its 2 horns and massive build, may also have inspired the legend. Perhaps these stories carry an echo of creatures from the past. Number 3. Giant snakes. Few symbols are as present in myths as the gigantic snake. Whether as a divine being, guardian of order, or destroyer, the giant snake plays a central role in many cultures. In Hindu mythology, Vasuki coils around Mount Mandara. In Egypt, Apophis threatens the sunbark of the god Ra every night. Giant snakes also appear in Norse and Mesoamerican traditions as powerful, often ambivalent figures. What's fascinating is that paleontology knows of real-life counterparts. The Titanoboa, a prehistoric ancestor of today's boas, lived in South America 60 million years ago and grew up to 13 meters long. It was even capable of crushing large crocodiles. Another example is Vasuki indicus, named after the mythical snake from India. This fossil reptile is said to have been 15 meters long. The resemblance to mythological depictions is striking. Perhaps early humans came across such fossils. Their impressions were passed down orally. In this way, legends of serpent gods could have arisen from fossilized remains. Number 2. Griffins. In many cultures, the lion is considered the king of the land and the eagle the ruler of the skies. No wonder that myths feature a hybrid creature that combines both, the griffin with the body of a lion and the head and wings of an eagle. It symbolizes strength, vigilance, and the connection between heaven and earth. For a long time, it was considered pure fantasy, but some researchers suspect real origins. In the deserts of Central Asia, traders once came across fossils such as those of Protoceratops, a dinosaur with a beak and a neck frill. To laypeople, its skeleton could appear like a hybrid creature, a big cat's body with a bird's head. This is possibly how the first griffin legends arose. A real-life griffin of modern times lived in New Zealand. The Haast's eagle, the largest known species of eagle with a wingspan of up to 3 meters, hunted flightless moas. Fast, precise, and deadly, it is even said to have attacked humans. When the Maori wiped out the moas, it disappeared as well. A real predator with an almost mythical aura. Perhaps creatures like the griffin show how bone discoveries and real animals become symbols in which reality and legend merge. Number 1. Cthulhu. The figure of Cthulhu is now the epitome of cosmic horror, created in 1928 by H.P. Lovecraft. Half octopus, half dragon with tentacles on its face, it seems like something out of a nightmare beyond human imagination, an ancient being from the depths of the ocean. But what if Lovecraft's monster unconsciously draws on real-life models? In natural history, there are creatures that bear a frightening resemblance to this description. For example, Cephalotrichos, a tentacled predator from the Cretaceous period, up to 12 meters long. It lived in a world full of giants like Tusoteuthis or Mosasaurus. Silent predators with hooked arms, powerful beaks, and deadly precision. Such creatures may have left traces in the collective memory, fossils that fueled myths. Perhaps Lovecraft was merely reflecting what was deeply buried within humanity. When ancient bones, stories, and fears merge, something new emerges. Neither entirely myth nor science. Maybe Cthulhu isn't just made up after all.